light, was not always the bustling metropolis we know today. Its story begins more than 2,000 years ago, long before the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre. Around the 3rd century BCE, the region along the Seine River was inhabited by a Celtic tribe known as the Parisii. They were skilled fishermen, traders, and warriors, living in small wooden huts on the islands of the Seine, particularly the Isle de la Cité. The river was their lifeline, providing food, trade routes, and protection. The Parisii thrived in a world of forests, rivers, and marshes. They traded with neighboring.
Lovely, but the price is too high for us.
Nonsense! You won't find better quality anywhere.
Your Majesty, the projected tax revenue is insufficient given the recent unrest.
The Crown requires these funds, advisor.
12 sesterti for the lot, friend. That is my final offer.
12. Very well.
Amphitheaters and temples, introducing urban planning that would influence Paris for centuries. The population increased, markets flourished, and the Seine became a busy artery for trade. Even as the Western Roman Empire declined, literature survived, evolving into the medieval Paris we recognize by the Middle Ages. Paris had become a thriving medieval city. Narrow, winding streets filled with merchants, craftsmen, and students surrounded the grand Notre Dame Cathedral. The city was a hub of learning, with the University of Paris founded in the 12th century, attracting scholars from across Europe. Yet life was often harsh. Streets were dark, overcrowded, and unsanitary. Fires, famine, and disease were common. During the 14th century, the Black Death swept through Paris, killing tens of thousands. The population was terrified but resilient. People sought solace in faith, art, and community, celebrating life whenever possible with festivals, markets, and street performances. In medieval Paris, the streets were narrow, dark, and chaotic. The grand palaces and churches rose above the city, but the people below struggled to survive. The city was filthy, with waste and dirt everywhere. Cholera, disease, and infection spread quickly through the streets. In the 14th century, the Black Death arrived. People were terrified. Everyone suffered, commoners, kings, and queens alike. To protect themselves, people wore masks, but fear was everywhere. The dead from the plague were burned in public to try to stop the disease, smoke rising over the city as a grim reminder of death.
Come closer.
Hunger and poverty made life even worse. Food was scarce and people starved. The streets were filled with sorrow and despair. Chaos and fear ruled the city, and every day was a fight to survive. Even amid this horror, life tried to continue. People whispered prayers, held small gatherings, and tried to find moments of hope. But the terror of the plague, the masks, the smoke, and the streets full of death reminded everyone that survival was never guaranteed. The Black Death turned Paris into a city of fear, a place where death was always near, and life was fragile and fleeting. The anger of the people did not stay silent. Crowds filled the streets, but many shouted from the windows and balconies of their homes and the grand buildings. Their voices echoed through the city. They demanded order, justice, and the right to live with dignity. Even the soldiers, who had once enforced the king's rules, joined the protest. The city was alive with shouting, banners, and the determination of its people. Their courage forced change. Kings and rulers were replaced, and new leaders promised to listen to the people's demands.
Clear the street! Move back now!
With this new leadership, the path to a better Paris began. The streets, once chaotic and filthy, started to be cleaned and organized. Plans were made to rebuild the city, widen the streets, and create spaces where life could be healthier and safer. The first steps of horsemen's transformation were laid, setting Paris on the path from fear and disorder to a city of beauty, order and hope.
12
The
sestertii for the
revolt
lot,
showed
friend.
that even
That is my
after the
final
horrors
offer.
of the
Well,
plague, the
very
people
well.
could
God's
rise,
favor
demand
you then.
justice, and create the foundation for a new, brighter Paris. After the revolt and the change of rulers, Paris began to transform. The city, once narrow, dark, and chaotic, was rebuilt with order and vision. Wide boulevards replaced winding
with those
alleys.
stones.
New
Watch out
squares
below.
and parks brought
that
light
cart
and
now.
air to the crowded city. Baron Georges Eugene Horseman,
Higher on the
appointed
left.
by
Pull,
the
man,
emperor,
pull.
led this great reconstruction. He created modern
set
sewer
it down
systems,
easy now.
fresh water supply, and gas lighting for the streets. The buildings were redesigned, facades were beautified, and public spaces.
Clear the rubble! Watch the beam above.
Move it
Paris
along, we have
became a
schedule
city
to keep.
where hygiene, safety, and beauty coexisted. The horrors of the plague and the chaos of the past slowly faded. People could finally walk freely, live with dignity, and enjoy the streets, cafes, and gardens. The transformation of Paris was not just about architecture. It was the rebirth of a city, born from tragedy and struggle, rising to become one of the most beautiful and organized cities in the world. Eugene Horseman was a French civil servant and urban planner who became one of the most influential figures in the history of Paris. Born in 1809, Horseman studied law and quickly rose through the ranks of government service. He became known for his organizational skills, vision, and ability to execute large projects. In 1853, Emperor Napoleon Roman III appointed Horseman as prefect of the Seine, giving him extraordinary powers to rebuild and modernize Paris. At that time, the city was overcrowded, chaotic, and plagued by disease. Narrow streets, poor sanitation, and infrastructure made life difficult for Parisians. Horseman's work transformed the city. He widened streets, created wide boulevards, parks, and squares, and implemented modern sewer systems and water supply. Gas lighting illuminated the streets, and public buildings were renovated or constructed to create harmony and beauty. His vision combined functionality, safety, and elegance, turning Paris into a modern, organized metropolis. He worked with architects, engineers, and urban planners, coordinating thousands of workers on massive projects. Transformation. Paris was no longer a city of fear, disease, and chaos. The streets were wide and clean, the boulevards illuminated by gas lamps, and parks and squares filled with light and air. Life returned to the city, and people celebrated their new freedom and beauty. The citizens of Paris began to organize balls, masquerades, and grand festivities. The salons and theaters were filled with music, laughter, and conversation. Men and women dressed in elegant clothes, wearing masks that added mystery and excitement to the evenings. A way to enjoy life after the long years of plague, poverty, and unrest. The culture of Paris flourished. Artists, writers, and musicians found inspiration in the renewed
new
city.
boulevard is
Cafes
splendid,
and
isn't it?
gardens became places to meet, talk,
Truly, the
and
air
dream.
feels quite
The
fresh
people
this
took
evening.
pride in their city,
you heading
walking
to the
along
baths
the
today?
wide boulevards,
Yes, the water is
attending
warm,
theaters,
and the news
and
from Rome
participating in
awaits.
vibrant social life. Paris had become not just a
Carefully now,
beautiful
these are
city,
heavy.
but a city of joy,
cart closer
culture,
to the
and
stall.
community, where the horrors of the past were replaced with art, music, and celebration.
Watch the line! Lift it up! Set the rivet now!
Montez la poutre, doucement.
Attention, ça passe juste. Vissez ici.
By the 1870s, Paris had completely changed. What a delightful afternoon for a promenade.
Indeed, the renovations have made this boulevard superb. Wait, look up there!
Oh wow, that's amazing!
Should we stop for coffee at that corner cafe?
Yes, let's sit outside.
Isn't the city magnificent now?
It truly is. The air seems cleaner already.
Regarde, le tramway électrique. C'est rapide. Oui, et la terrasse est enfin ouverte.